Okay, so we'll look at the number of the recurrence relation for P and K. Okay, so there are two ways, two things you can think of. The one possibility is if the smallest part is 1. Can you tell me how many different partitions of n can I get when the smallest part is 1? Hope everyone knows what's a partition of n. Yes. So if the small, how many? Why n times? If the smallest part is 1, how many can I get? Why np1? See, what is this? This is number of partitions of n into k parts. If I know for sure that the smallest part is 1, that means the rest of it should be a partition of n minus 1, right? Into how many parts? K minus 1 parts, right? So that's going to be exactly P n minus 1 comma k minus 1, but we know that the smallest part is not always 1. Okay, so what happens when the smallest part is not 1? So then there's a nice trick to this. What we can do is we can think of subtracting 1 from every part. Okay, if we subtract 1 from every part, we are going to get a partition of what? Can you tell me? If I subtract 1 from every part, if 1 is not a partition, if 1 is not, tell me. See, partition of n, what is a partition of n? Partitions of 3 are 1 plus 1 plus 1, this is a partition. Okay, of course I don't want to have then I have 2 plus 1. I want 2 plus 1 and 1 plus 2 to be the same thing. So I keep them either in increasing order or decreasing order. Okay, and the other one is 3. So here you have 3. Okay, so what I'm saying is, say you have 5 here. Let's look at 5. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Then we can also have, starting with 2, we can have 2 plus the partitions of 3 would be 1 plus 1 plus 1, or you could have 2 plus 2 plus 1. Is that okay? Then starting with 3, you can have 3 plus 1 plus 1, which is 3 plus 2, and starting with 4 plus 1, starting with 5. Okay, so there are two possibilities, as I said. Either your smallest partition is 1 or it is not 1. So smallest partition is 1 is here. Because the numbers are small, it's going to be almost all of them. But so the number of these is going to be exactly, take off 1 from it, you're going to get number of partitions of 4 into, I have made a mistake. I'm not looking at all partitions here. I want to look at partitions, let me look at, where is the duster? Yeah, let me look at number of partitions. Okay, these are all the partitions of 5. Let me look at number of partitions of, these numbers are quite small, so it is little difficult to get something nice. Okay, you can see here in 2 parts, number of partitions of 5 into 2 parts. Okay, there are 2 possibilities. Of course, this is a very small number, so it's you're not going to get too many options here. Number of partitions of 5 into 2 parts, either you end with 1 or you don't end with 1. End with 1, you're going to get number of partitions of 4 into 1 part. Okay, there's another one here. Into 3 parts, again, there's going to be just partitions of 5 into 3 parts is just this. Okay, here you end with 1. Don't end with 1 is not even possible. Okay, in this case, it's because you're going to have, we will see what it becomes. Okay, so here it is going to be number of partitions of 4 into 2 parts. Number of partitions of 4, which are the partitions of 4 into 2 parts? 2 plus 2 and 3 plus 1. So that's exactly what you're going to get. I hope everyone can see that. Okay, because if you have a partition of 4 into 2 parts, you put 1 to it, you will get a partition of 5 into 3 parts. You have a partition of, if you have a partition of n minus 1 into k minus 1 parts, you add a 1, you will get a partition of n into k parts. And similarly, if you have a partition of n into k parts, where 1 is the last element, you take off that 1, you will get a partition of n into k minus 1 parts. A partition of n minus 1 into k minus 1 parts. So that works. Okay, if the smallest partition is 1, the number of partitions of n into k parts such that the smallest partition of part is 1 is going to be exactly this much. What if the smallest partition is not 1? So here also you can think of it in a nice way. You can subtract 1 from every part. Like example here, into 2 parts, I can subtract 1 from each part. So overall I'll be subtracting 2, right? Subtract 1 from here, subtract 1 from here. What will I get? I will get a partition of 5 minus 2. In general, I will get a partition of n minus k into how many parts? K parts. Okay, check back and see. So if you have a partition of n into k parts, by subtracting 1 from each of them, you will get a partition of n minus k into k parts. Right? Now start with the partition of n minus k into k parts. Right? Add 1 to all of them, you will get a partition of n into k parts. Right? And these functions are inverses of each other. So it will tell you that the number of elements are exactly the same. So what do I have to add here? P n minus k comma k. Okay, so we are taking 2 different possibilities. So the number of partitions of n into k parts such that 1 is the least part is p n minus 1 comma k minus. Not writing the reasons, you should try to write it on your own. Okay, and the number of partitions so if we have a partition of n into k parts such that 1 is not the least element, okay, then subtracting one from each part of the partition, okay, we get a partition of n minus k into k parts. Okay, we subtract 1 from each partition, we get a partition of n minus k into k parts. Similarly, given a partition of n minus k into k parts, okay, given a partition of n minus k into k parts, by adding one to each part, what do we get? By adding 1 to each part, what do we get? Give me a partition of n minus k into k parts. By adding 1 to each part, what will we get? A partition of n into k parts, right? You are adding 1 to each part. You have a partition of n minus k into k parts, right? You add 1 to each part. How many ones you have added? K ones, right? So you're going to get a partition of n into k parts, okay? Because it's also going to preserve the increasing order, because you take an increasing function, add 1 to each of it, it's still going to be increasing. So it's going to give you back a partition. That's quite clear. By adding 1 to each part, we get a partition of n into k parts. Okay, and if you see that this function is the inverse of this, you take this, operate, take a partition of n into k parts such that 1 is not the least element, subtract 1 from each, you will get this one. Do this operation back, you will get back the same partition that you started with. Okay, similarly you start with this and go back, you can see that these are inverses of each other, which means that the number of elements here is the same as the number of elements here. So therefore the number of partitions of n into k parts such that 1 is not the least element is p n minus k comma k, okay, and hence we have our recurrence relation p n minus k equals p n minus 1. Of course, I am making the general assumptions here that when k is greater than n, when k is greater than n, p n k is 0. Okay, these are the general assumptions which I expect to make in all these cases. I have written that properly in the notes, so you can have a look at that. Okay, so that's a nice fact. Let's do some calculations. Let's see how it works. A few exercises. So there is a nice relation on dn, in fact, which we can prove by induction. Okay, so let's see how we approach this. It's a small exercise. I will not do the entire proof, just give you a hint of the proof. So for n greater than or equal to 2, dn is n times dn minus 1. So this is a recurrence relation on dn. Okay, we have got a formula for dn, if you remember. How we had got the formula for dn? Using which theorem? The inclusion exclusion theorem. Okay, this is a nice recurrence relation for dn. Okay, quite interesting, because you are going to use this recurrence relation to build the what do you call it? Formal, what is it called? Generating function for dn. And then from a generating function, there are lots of techniques from which you can actually pull off the closed form of the sequence. Okay, that we will look at some ways, but that's what, yeah, this is not just this plus minus 1 raised to n. Okay, I hope it's correct. In fact, you can look at your formula and check that this works, but I want you to do it combinatorially. So can we approach this combinatorially? By induction. So let's first check that it works for, I want this to work for n greater than or equal to 2, because it doesn't make sense when n is 1 or this thing. Okay, so unless you're ready to make certain assumptions. So let's start with n equals 2. Let's see whether this works when n is 2. Does it work when n is 2? What is d of 2? What is d of 2? I hope you all remember what is dn? It's the number of derangements. What are derangements? No, it's the permutations when no element is mapped to itself. Okay, all go to different, it's like the switches and the fans. Somehow, it's not a derangement, but just seems like it is. Okay, so d2 is 1, right? There's only one way, 1 and 2, that set, 1 comma 2. There's only one derangement, 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1. That's the only derangement. There is no other derangement. So d2 is nothing but 1. Okay, what about this thing here? When n is 2, you will get 2 times, what is d1? 0. d1 is 0, right? Because there's only one permutation, 1 goes to itself. That's the only point, it's not a derangement. Okay, so this is 2 times 0, which gives us 0, plus minus 1 raised to 2, which is 1. So that works. So therefore, when, what is this? 2 times d1 plus minus 1 raised to 2 is 1. So this works. Okay, so for n equals to 2, we have proved it. Okay. So assume for n, prove for n plus 1. Can we do that? Assume for n, prove for n plus 1. So can I think of can I think of a combinatorial argument? I can't really. Yeah? Is there a way of giving me a. Of course, I could just use the formula and do it, but maybe that's the best way to approach this. Let's just use the formula and do it. I don't know whether I can think of a combinatorial argument for this, but we will require this anyway later. So let's prove it. So assume for n, okay, to prove for n plus 1. What is the formula for? You basically just have to look at the formula and do it. Okay, what is dn plus 1? What is the formula which we have proved? Can anyone check and tell me? What is the formula for dn? Yeah, what is it? I think that was the first one which we had done, right? Here it is. Okay, so what is this? I think we have n factorial. So n plus 1 factorial times what? Yeah, times what is it? And going from 0, so 1 minus, just check whether I am correct. So minus 1 raised to, I think it's, so first you start with 0, that's fine, minus 1 raised to 1 divided by 1 factorial, correct, or minus 1 raised to, yeah, 1, correct. So these are all plus, I think, yeah, correct, plus minus 1 raised to 2 divided by 2 factorial, this is the formula, okay, plus up to, what is it, minus 1 raised to n, what happened, there's a mistake, it's okay, okay, minus 1 raised to n upon n factorial plus minus 1 raised to n plus 1 divided by n plus 1 factorial, okay. And what is n times, let's write n times dn directly, n times dn, you will get a n factorial here, oh, I would want n plus 1 times dn, right, n plus 1 times dn, correct. So n plus 1 times dn, you will have n factorial times n plus 1, so that will give us n plus 1 times n plus 1 factorial into 1 plus minus 1 raised to 1 upon 1 factorial, you can just see how it works, upon 2 factorial plus up to minus 1 raised to n upon n factorial. This is all you have here, right? You just subtract this, you've got your answer. Therefore, dn plus 1 minus n plus 1 times dn, what will get this do? You can see here all the terms are going to get cancelled except for this one, right? Which is, except for this one, everything else will get cancelled, right? And that is what? N plus 1 factorial divided by n plus 1 factorial, which is 1. So you get minus 1 raised to n plus 1, exactly what we wanted. That's this thing. Do I need induction? I think that's also not required. I can't see where I'm using induction here. That's fine. So that's the recurrence relation for dn. Let's see if someone can come out with a combinatorial proof. I think I had it, but I can't recollect now. See if you can get a combinatorial proof for this thing, for this recurrence relation. Okay. So I'll leave that out to you as a homework. Let's see who can give that to me. I will also think of it. We had another recurrence relation for dn, right? We had proved that dn is n minus 1 times dn minus 1 plus dn minus 2. That's another recurrence relation that we have for dn. This is another one. So this is a first order recurrence relation. That was a second order recurrence relation. dn, we had proved earlier, was n minus 1 times dn minus 1 plus dn minus 2. You can go back and check and see. We had proved it using some combinatorial this thing. I think you could possibly use that recurrence relation and get this one. That would work. You can try getting this using that recurrence relation. Let me show you. So okay, so dn plus 1 we know is what is this? N times dn plus dn minus 1, correct? We know this fact. Let's try to, but let's try to use this, right? How do I do this? I thought it would be possible with this. Okay, so therefore, what happens to dn plus 1 minus n plus 1 times dn? What is this going to give us? This is going to give us dn plus 1, I am just trying, minus n times dn minus dn. I am not sure whether I will get something from here. I am not sure. We'll have a look at it. If you can get this using that recurrence relation, I think you can do it. It's not coming to me. Okay, we'll keep that aside. What one way of doing it? I think we have proved that. Can you give me a formula for the unsigned Sn comma n minus 1? I think we have done this. Okay, what is this, by the way? What is this defined as? Number of permutations of an n set with, what is it? N minus 1 orbits. Correct? With exactly n minus 1 orbits. What will that be? Can anyone think of it? It's quite easy. Number of permutations of an n set with exactly n minus 1 orbits. So how will you get exactly n minus 1 orbits? How is it possible to get exactly n minus 1 orbits? This is only possible if you have one transposition and the rest of the elements go to themselves. Correct? This is only, how will you get n minus 1, how will you get n minus 1 orbits for a n set? It will only be possible if you have one transposition, that is some element A goes to an element B and B goes back to A, and the rest of the elements go to themselves. Therefore, it's basically a choice of 2 from n. Can you see that? It's no other possible way of doing this. So this will just be NC2. Okay, and yeah, so that's what we have. There is another exercise, you can try it on your own. Okay. I will stop this here. We will come back, means take a short break and start with generating functions.